Okay, now that little rant's out of my system. What I really wanted to do today was talk some D&D. What I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but other shit won't leave me alone. So, specifically, the Rod of Seven Parts, and how to run a campaign around it. Because I feel like D&D's doing it, but I don't feel like... Now, mind you, we won't know until the Avenger comes out. But I feel like they don't quite understand how big of a deal the Rod of Seven Parts is. So, okay, for those who are unaware somehow, the Rod of Seven Parts is essentially the Infinity Gauntlet of D&D, or about as close to it as you get. Basically, the Rod of Seven Parts have the possibility to restart the war in heaven. And I'm not going to go into it here because that's a whole video in and of itself, and other people have done it, and they've done it better than me. But the Rod of Seven Parts is that artifact. So, here's the deal. They're going to do a plane topping one. Okay. To be honest, you're making it way more complicated. And I get it's the anniversary. It's meant to be that. It's meant to celebrate D&D. Well, A, you're not celebrating all of D&D because you're not going to all the settings. So, there's that to put in perspective. And B, you're making it harder to do it right. Focus on one setting if you're going to do that. Look, when you're doing the Raw 7 parts, essentially anyone with any sort of ambition for power should be after that thing. So we'll take Faerun as an example, right? The Red Wizard should be after it. The Shadow King should be after it. The Rune Lord should be the Dark Rune should be after it. Every faction worth a damn. The Harpers, the Zentarum, they should all be after that thing. Right? And along with every Demon Lord, every Archdevil, every Barnoloth, every... If you can name a major villain in D&D, they should be coming after the Rod. They should want the Rod. For whatever purposes, right? If you're doing Ravenloft, every Dark Lord should want the Rod to free themselves from the domains of dread. If you're playing in Eberron, every kingdom should want it so that they can reunite the Empire on their terms, right? If you're doing Dark Sun, every Sorcerer King should want it. If you're doing Greyhawk, every faction should want it. If you're doing Dragonlance, every faction should want it. Doesn't matter what world you're doing. This should be the focus of everybody, right? This should draw in every major player, period. And look, I'm not saying that this adventure is going to be bad. It'll probably be fine. I don't personally run pre-made adventures, but I'm sure the adventure will be fun for people who like those settings. For people. But for me, it's like... You're already doing the Infinity Gauntlet of D&D with the Thanos, arguably, of D&D. So why make it more complicated by making this multiversal? And look, I did. D&D's always been a bit of a multiverse thing. It's been that way since they started branching off with different settings. But I feel like D&D, where D&D I feel like falls apart a bit, and where Pathfinder succeeds, is a distinct difference in focus. Pathfinder is focused. D&D just isn't. I don't know. Like, to me, considering everything else is in favor, why is this one suddenly multiversal? When everything else has happened, all the other major stuff has been Faerun based. Yeah, you've had a couple of adventures outside of Faerun, but why now are we suddenly like, okay, we're going to jump around and do Faerun, Eberron, Greyhawk, which you haven't even made a proper setting book for yet. Ravenloft, Spelljammer, Planescape. Like, I get most of the other ones. Like, Avernus, I get. You know, all that stuff. But why Greyhawk? If we're talking about things that are in 5th edition, why Greyhawk? Why not go with the Critical Role setting? Or one of the Magic the Gathering settings if you're going to go in that direction with it. If you're going for stuff that's already in 5th edition. And I know Greyhawk technically in there because of Saltwater Marshes, but still. And if it doesn't matter if it's in 5th edition or not, why? And if we're counting that, then technically you could count Mystara because you've adapted several adventures that are originally set in Mystara. But you aren't going to do that because Mystara is quote unquote too problematic. You're not going to adapt Darksun because Darksun is quote unquote too problematic. Look, if you aren't willing to take risk and possibly offend some people, then creativity is dead. That's the truth. You can't be truly creative and not take the risk of offending somebody. To me, you just can't. If you're truly being creative, odds are good someone's going to get offended by something you do. That's just how it is. Just like if you truly express your opinion, you're going to offend somebody because that's just the way things are now. Because people are spineless and start crying over any little thing. I.e. my earlier video about Tony Khan. Why are both videos I'm making today turning into rants? Oh yeah, because I'm in a foul mood and shouldn't have been recording today. Look, my point is, if you're going to do the rod, you don't need to make it multiversal too. You want to do the Infinity War D&D? Fine. One setting at a time, though, for fuck's sake. And look, the Raw 7 Parts is already a very adaptable thing. You could put it in any setting and it works. It's just like the Hand and Eye of Vecna. You can throw them into any setting and it works. Or the Book of Wild Darkness or any of those big artifacts. I'm honestly surprised that it took us this long to get a Vecna adventure in 5th edition. Now, if they ever stat out as Modius, we'll know where 5th edition's going. But, yeah. I'm done. I shouldn't have been recording today at all, probably, but screw it, I'll upload it anyway. I've already recorded it, might as well. Ta-ta!